All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to another great episode of Libretti Podcast Diary Show. The show talks about nothing but finds a lesson in everything, and we try to have fun while we do it. So I'm your stupid, stinking host, Libretti. For all you returning guests, thanks for coming back. For all you newbies, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Ah, crap! I gotta bleep that out. Welcome to the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do all those how you doings. We're talking about a topic that's been, I guess, popular recently, getting towards the holidays, and it involves thievery, and we're trying to find out who's at fault. The thieves, the car thieves, people breaking into cars and stealing stuff or stealing cars, or the people who are leaving their cars unlocked or their keys in their cars. We're going to talk about the nuance behind that. We're going to get to your fan feedback and what your thoughts on it are. And discuss why it's not as simple as, one answer or the other. And we'll try to find a lesson in there and all that stuff. That's going to be happening in the junction, of course. But first, I want to get some of the hot topics out of the way. Check my notes here. Now, I'll put the little tinfoil hat on. You don't have to if you don't want to. I always say that as a joke because some of these news articles seem so wild that they're not even true. But they are. This is just what I'm finding on the internets. Now, first one of the day, the DOD, the Senate just passed the recent DOD budget. I think it's for just next year alone. It's for $300 billion. Excuse me. Rewind. It's for $850 billion. The $300 billion is specifically going to research and procurement efforts, that bucket in the DOD, Department of Defense, the military. Now, what that means and why that's important in the tinfoil hattie discussion is that means the research and procurement is when essentially the government and the military go out to all the other privately owned companies and contractors to do stuff, projects, build things, buy weaponry, systems, technologies, capabilities, what have you. Now, the original bill was slated, I don't know, $274 billion was supposed to go to the research and procurement bucket. But the Senate, right before they passed it, by the way, they passed it like 80-11. Only 11 people voted it down, some ridiculous number like that. They added another $27 billion just to that section alone. Now, they said it's because of inflation, but a couple of the math whizzes on the internets did the numbers on inflation, and that only accounts for $7 billion. So they added $20 extra billion to that one bucket alone to that defense bill. Now, if you remember me, on my tinfoil hat soapbox several episodes ago, and many other episodes ago too, talking about the only thing that the Congress and the government, it seems to be, unilaterally or bipartisan, whatever you want to call it, together on, is the military-industrial complex. And you don't have to believe me. You could think I'm wrong. I've been wrong about a lot of things, and this is just an opinion. But it's an opinion I think that's shared by a lot of other smarter people than me. And you should probably listen to them and heed their words and warnings about the increase, the continued increase of this connection with the military-industrial complex and how it's, creating way more problems than good. It's just interesting to note that this bill was passed. Nobody's talking about it. Billions and billions of dollars of our money, taxpayer money, going into look, I am a military man. Okay? I love the military. I've been in it for 12 and a half years now. In one way, shape, or form. So I'm not anti-military by any means. I want them to have the best equipment, the best trained people ready to fight and defend this nation and defend the Constitution. Absolutely. But $300 billion to research and procurement, $850 billion total for 1 year. This is after, by the way, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, announced about a month ago, not even, that they had over $1 trillion of the previous defense budget completely unaccounted for. They don't know where that money went, what it actually went to. There's no paper trail on $1 trillion of taxpayer money, monopoly money at this point, that the Department of Defense spent last year. And now we're just giving us another $850 billion. And we're not fighting wars. So it makes you think. You could go down a lot of different, rabbit holes with that one. A lot of different tinfoil rabbit holes. Are we going to get into other wars? Is that what they're preparing for, knowing it's coming? Is the money actually going to good stuff for the Department of Defense? Or is it going to be unaccounted for? Lining people's pockets? Who knows? Something to think about, though, as we start this episode off hot. Let's just, we'll keep rolling here. Another tinfoil hatty thing. Maxine Waters, senator or congresswoman or whatever she is. She's in the government, in the U.S. government. She is the head of the Finance Accountability Committee or something like that. It's the committee in the government that's leading the investigation on the FTX collapse that we talked about and the fraud and all that stuff going on. By the way, Sam Bankman-Fried, the disgraced CEO of that Ponzi scheme, finally got arrested and charged with wire fraud and all this stuff. There's more information out there. We could talk about it on a future episode if you want. Otherwise, you can go look it up. I'm sure you're seeing it everywhere in social medias and stuff. They pretty much were talking about how they're doing wire fraud in a group chat on the WhatsApp app, and it was titled Wire Fraud. So they were hiding in plain sight, didn't even care. Obviously, this is a scheme that they were hatching up the entire time, and he finally got arrested. Now, the Maxine Waters thing is interesting because she's the head of this committee that's supposed to be investigating this objectively. Her, along with other members of that committee, received campaign finances, funds, donations, and I don't know exactly how much specifically, but from FTX, from Sam Bankman-Fried himself. And now she's supposed to objectively investigate this situation. Okay, there was already articles out there about her not wanting to even subpoena the dude, and luckily, the Justice Department went around and were like, we're not waiting for you to do anything. We're just going to go and arrest him on these other charges, these wire fraud specifically to him, not just to the company. So a lot of things going on in here as we continue down that crazy story. What we discussed previously, is this conspiracy that wild anymore, or is it getting more and more realistic? So very interesting stuff. I'm curious to see how that turns out. Additionally, Maxine Waters this is how campaign finances work. You get donations sent to your campaign for whatever you're running for, and then you're supposed to do stuff with that money that has to be, in support of the campaign. You can't just go pocket it and go do whatever. But one thing that the government does very well, the congressmen and senators do very well, is they find these sleazy little loopholes to slink in and get family members and friends that campaign money, to funnel it to them. This year alone, she's funneled $50,000+ to her daughter's company, and I think the only thing that they wrote it off as on the finance sheets was that her daughter's company, I forgot what it's called, the Progressives Club or some crap like that. Her daughter's company helped make pamphlets about Maxine Waters and why you should vote for her. Like paper pamphlets, apparently, which is something who reads those anymore? So I don't even know if they're real, if they actually passed them out, if they worked or whatever, but that was how they got $50,000 this year alone. And her company received over $1 million since 2003 from Maxine Waters' campaign. Just goes directly to her daughter, right under the table, but in front of our noses, okay? And this is not just Maxine. Whole bag Maxine is not the only one who's doing it. They're all doing it. They all have family members on the right and the left and the center and the up and the down. They're all feeding their families millions and millions of dollars under the table of our donations or our taxpayer money. And I sound like a crazy person. I know, I'm the crazy guy sitting in a basement, rotting away like a clown, talking about this. Like I used to laugh at these people when I was a kid, like the tinfoil hat guys, the government's coming to get you, watch out for the radio waves, all that stuff. And now I'm the one talking about how they're stealing from us every day right under our noses, and we're letting it happen because we keep voting these old clowns in. She's 100 years old. I don't know how she even was able to walk up to the podium without turning to dust. And we're voting these bitches in. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I think that's all the tinfoil hat stuff, guys. Stuff I have. Let's see. Oh, this is not tinfoil hatty. This is just a funny story. The guy who was hired on the Biden administration to do some sort of chemical, nuclear chemical secretary's job. I don't know what the job was. It doesn't matter. He's a proclaimed non-binary fella. You've probably seen many pictures of him on the news recently. He's a completely bald dude with a mustache, and he wears makeup and a dress. He got busted for the second time in a year stealing luggage from airport carousels, from baggage claim. Okay, this is the person in charge of a government administrative cabinet position. He got hired, and within his hiring, he stole people's luggage. He just walked up to the carousel, saw luggage he liked, like Gucci or Coach or whatever it was, name brand shit, and he just picked it up and walked away. And then he was bragging about it and joking about it, and he got caught the first time, and the administration swept it under the carpet and like suspended him or yelled at him or whatever they did, made him shave his mustache. I don't know what it was. And then he went right back and did it again, and he claimed both times he thought it was his luggage. He didn't know what was going on. This is the clowns. These are the clowns we have leading our country to greatness, mind you. Okay? This is what we got going on. So he's finally getting in trouble. I think he finally got fired. So I guess they have a 2-strike rule on blatant thievery going on. So that's that. All right. Before we get into the goods, one more thing, and this is one of the most important things for you people to remember, and that's we are very fast approaching Profile Pick 2023. Now, for those of you who don't know, every year, the LPDS, since before its existence even, will update the profile picture on Facebook's, and I'll post it on Instagram, but it won't be the profile photo on Instagram. It'll just be a photo, a post. And we do it big. We try to add as many ridiculous things into the photo as possible via Photoshop. It's not real. Spoiler alert, not real. So I will be soliciting for ideas. I'll probably post something in the coming days from you listening to this on Instagram and even on Facebook, what you would like to see added into the picture or what kind of theme you're looking for. I think better off is the overall theme, and then I can take it from there. But we've had, White House theme, presidential theme. We had, ridiculous guy standing on tank theme. I had The Last Supper one year. I did a Godfather theme. All this stuff. Whatever you want. Pick a theme, a general overarching idea of what you want the profile pick to be, and you let LPDS and that team will take it from there, and we'll try to make it great for you guys. I like doing it. It's fun. It's ridiculous. It's not realistic at all, but I keep it up for the whole year, so whatever's in there stays in there. So come up with good ideas, and you'll be in there for an entire year, and I'll give you a shout out too. So that's that. Now, to the important stuff. Let's step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Hallmark's newest Christmas movie, A Night Under Mistletoe. Follow Mistletoe, A down on her luck lady of the night and stripper just trying to find her way back home to her old hometown where she's just accepted a job at the local brothel for Christmas. But because she's a little short on cash, she has to bang her way across country until she miraculously runs into her childhood best friend from the orphanage, from the orphanage that they lived in, Caleb, who's also headed back home for a new job. Sparks fly and the two quickly fall for each other, but Mistletoe isn't allowed to have a lover if she wants to do her career at the brothel. Does she choose her career over Christmas love? Tune in on Christmas morning to Channel 29 to find out if it'll be Caleb or another customer who gets to spend Christmas night under mistletoe. That actually sounds like a really good Christmas comedy. Like something like Zach Galifianakis would be in. He would be Caleb. And he wants to do mistletoe, go under mistletoe. Maybe I'll pitch that to somebody. Who can I do that to? The creators of South Park. They're really the only ones. So maybe I'll pitch it to them. But go check it out, Channel 29. All right, the Cage fact. He did an interview. Somebody actually sent this to me. And he discussed in this interview that when he was a child, Nic Cage that is, he thought that he was an actual alien. Now, I don't mean that he thought he was the green guy with the weird eyes and, doing telepathy and such. He just thought that he was so different from the other kids his age in school, his friends and what have you, that he thought he was from a different planet. And he was legitimately shocked that when he went to the doctor for his, a standard appointment or whatever, he was legitimately shocked that they told him that he was just a normal human. He had regular human organs inside. Everything was normal, standard human. And from then on out, he knew he was still different. He obviously knew he wasn't an alien. He was a human. But because he felt so different and out of whack from the rest of the community, that's what sort of drove him into doing something different, which turned into acting. He wanted to be able to express his uniqueness, I guess you can say, in some way that people can enjoy and be entertained by and understand that whole thing. And that's what he did. He decided to become an actor so he can actually express his different. And let me tell you something. Nobody's done it better. Nobody has expressed their unique character and displayed how different they are better than Nic Cage. And if you don't believe me, go back to every episode before this. Every single one has a new Cage fact that just is a rap sheet of his wildness and how different and unique he is in the best way possible. So, look, if he was an alien, I'd believe it. I'd be on board. I mean, there are not many people in this world, at least on the celebrity side. Maybe there are more on the celebrity side than not, I guess. But there are not many people that you can interact with and look at and talk to or view and just be like, this person is not of this world. And he's one of them. No doubt about it. Dennis Rodman is one of them. Michael Jackson was one of them. Who else? I'm trying to think. Other people. But Nic Cage for sure is definitely one of those guys that if you said, actually, he's an alien, I wouldn't even bat an eyelash. Is it bat an eyelash? An eyelid? What's this saying? I'm an idiot. I wouldn't even take a guess. I would just be like, yeah, that checks. Good for him. I wish I was an alien so I could be as successful as him. But I'm not, so I'm not, and that's that. All right. Get into the junction file. We spin the logo up. I got Randy laying down in the background. He's been on guard duty outside looking for animals in the back there. If you can see him in YouTube land, he's decided to sleep on the job. So if we get attacked, that's why. All right, the junction topic, like we discussed before, who's at fault? That was the big question I posed to everybody, whether it was people who leave their car unlocked in their driveways, on their streets, next to their houses, or what have you, or the thieves that walk by the cars and open the door and see it's unlocked and steal their stuff. I did this because over the past several weeks, I think it even might have been in the local news reports recently too, of this happening more and more so over the holidays, is people getting their cars broken into, and more so than not, it's been by thieves who are just doing door checks, and they're just walking by cars, and as they're passing by, they just pop the door handle. If it opens, they're going in and do stuff, and if it's locked, then they're on their way. It's been happening a lot more. It happened to my cousin. It wasn't his car, but his street got hit, the entire street. It actually reminds me of the time that my family got hit years ago. I was a child, and the entire street. I think there was maybe only 2 cars that weren't locked, or that weren't unlocked, and one of them was like the cop who lived up the street. Everybody else's cars got hit, and it was a simple open door, see what's in there, taking loose change, or whatever else is in there, and then being on their way, closing the door. And the only reason why there was even the alarm bell sounded were that some of the people's doors were actually accidentally left half open. Like they would just leave and the door wasn't fully closed, and that's what got people alarmed. And then they found out that their change was gone, their tampons, whatever else they have in their cars that they were hiding, is all gone. So it happened to my cousin's street recently, not his car, and it sparked a heavy debate in his neighborhood. And it also happened to future boss of mine, Dave Portnoy of Barstool Sports. His car got stolen. He left his car unlocked in his driveway. I think he was in Miami. And the keys in the car. And somebody walked up and opened the door and then saw the keys in there and was like, "See ya," and took it. Now, the reason for that... There's no reason for that. He had the keys in his car, apparently because his girlfriend wanted to use the car and he had to go somewhere else, so he left the keys in there for her to go take instead of just, I don't know, locking the door and leaving the keys inside. I don't know what the deal was, but somebody came and saw. The reason why they even approached the vehicle was, and this is something that technology sort of backfired on, because this happens a lot actually when you get new technology. Technology and advancements are built for ease of use, without thinking about the security involved in it. And it happens a lot with cyber advancements, computer technology, things like that. All these different programs and softwares and stuff are being built to make things faster and easier, more accessible to people. And they don't think about the security stuff involved in it, and then it gets hacked or it gets shut down or whatever it is, and then you're in big trouble. So this is what happened. His car, I think it was a Range Rover or a Land Rover or something, when you lock the doors on that car, the side mirrors automatically close in. Okay? So anytime you see one of these newer Range Rovers with the side mirrors closing, that means the door is locked. If the side mirrors are open, that door is unlocked. That car is open. And apparently it was... I just lost my train of thought. I don't know what it apparently was. But, yeah, so the mirrors were out. Other cars apparently do this too. These newer cars, probably Audi, Acura, when you have these, the new technology, they like to do that, especially with city cars. You're driving around the city, you got to park on the street, you don't want your mirrors out, or you're in a parking garage. They close it up for you instead of you doing it yourself. Again, it was for convenience. The technology of convenience actually is the reason why so many of these cars are getting broken into now. Now, on one hand, I'm gonna get to the how you doing, the fan feedback eventually here. But on one hand, you have people leaving their car doors unlocked. The naivete and stupidity and ignorance of these nincompoops just thinking, I'll just leave my car unlocked and nothing will happen to me, and then coming out shocked and surprised when their stuff got stolen. I mean, that's a rookie mistake, okay? In 2022, when one of the most popular movements of the year has been defund the police, when they can't do shit about it, even if they wanted to, most of them do want to do something about it. In these cities with the most prevalent, the most increase in crime and violence and scariness, in what world do you think that's a good idea to leave your car unlocked? Oh, nothing's going to happen to me. Not me. And then it happens to you, you're like, how can this happen to me? I could tell you how. You left your car unlocked, dude. Or you left your keys in the car. That's how it happened. All right? Protect your shit. There's no reason to not lock your door. Stop being so trusting. And I hate that other excuse of, oh, well, this is a safe neighborhood. This never happened before. You think you could trust people these days. You can't trust people these days. Okay? You just can't do it. This isn't like what it was in Pleasantville, 1952, when you knew everybody on your block. Everything was in black and white. No one was leaving jewels and money and stuff in their cars. And you didn't have to worry about that stuff. You got to worry about that stuff now, folks. Lock your doors. I guarantee you, if someone walked on this block here, where this dungeon is, 90% of the people's cars would be unlocked. The ones that are sitting outside and not in garages. 90%, no doubt about it. In fact, I know some of the cars when I walk Randy on our athletic walks to get exercise, follow number one of the big three, I see some of these cars that have the window how you doings, the side mirror how you doings, and sometimes they're closed and sometimes they're open. And I know these people are not manually going and shutting both mirrors on their cars when they're sitting in their driveway, outside, not in a garage. So you can make an assessment, you can deduce that this is probably one of the automatic things and that person's car is locked or unlocked. And if I wanted to, which I don't want to and I never will want to, I could go and pop open doors and do that stuff. Crazy Carol and JPL3, we're not doing that anymore. Well, they better not be doing that anymore. That's for damn sure because they already got popped once. Luckily, there's nothing of value in their cars, so they don't have to worry about much. They got a couple kids' seats, and I can't tell you how many tissue boxes and sweat towels are in my old man's car, so we don't have to worry about that here. Now, on the other hand, don't break into cars. Don't be a thief. How about that? If you break into somebody else's car, whether the door is unlocked or not, you're committing a crime. You're doing crime, bro. Don't do crime. Okay? It's illegal. You're breaking the law. That's wrong. Unequivocally, 100% black and white wrong. There is no justification for you to break in a car unless you're being chased by assassins or wild animals trying to eat you, and the only way you can escape is by breaking into the nearest vehicle and driving off to the police station to report it. And then telling the person whose vehicle you stole that this is the reason and I'll pay you for it and all this other stuff. That might be the only time. And I promise you, nobody here in the junction is getting chased by assassins or wild animals anytime soon. Okay? Just don't break into cars. It's illegal. That is it should be a question at all. And the whole argument of, well, if you didn't want your car broken and your stuff stolen, you should have locked your car. That's like the same argument that the defense attorneys and the sleazeballs used to make back in the day with, well, you shouldn't have dressed like that. You wouldn't have got assaulted. That's wrong. It's the stupidest thing. All you're doing is saying, oh, well, you're allowed to do assault and do carjackings and thievery if somebody's being stupid. They deserve to be. They deserve to have their car broken into. The thief should not be in trouble for that. He's just doing his thief job. And you made it. You enabled him. That's ridiculous. Whether you're stupid or not has nothing to do with the fact that this person's breaking the law. Sorry about it. They're a thief. And they should be punished. They should go to jail. I was going to say go to death, but we don't need to kill for taking somebody's easy pass from their car, okay? We can just find a better way to discipline and rehab them. But now, I put this poll up for the people to get their take on it, because on the surface it's very simple. You think it's a very easy answer. It's one or the other. And the other should be, you would think, obvious. But what we like to do here at the LPDS is we like to understand the nuance of every situation, and we want to get everybody else's feedback and ideas and opinions on this subject matter to understand where they're coming from, why they think the way they do, so that you guys now have a better understanding of the overall situation and you can be more informed in the future of what's going on around you. Okay? Lessons. The show about nothing that teaches lessons in everything. That's what we do here, folks, okay? Now, the nuance of it all is that who's at fault? That's not the nuance, that's the question, really. I'm an idiot. That's the nuance, is that I'm an idiot trying to teach people things, and it's tough to teach when you're stupid, okay? That's the nuance. But it wasn't as black and white as we thought. In fact, the results of the poll had only 45% of the people said that the thieves were at fault. 25% of the people said that the people who keep their cars unlocked or their keys in their car are at fault. Now, that alone is interesting, because keeping your car unlocked, what is the fault in that? That's not, there's no law or even like unwritten rule that says if your door is unlocked, your car should be broken into. You are now at fault, and you should be punished by getting your car broken into. There's no such thing as that. So the fact that people said that is very interesting. That they think that these people, because they're stupid, stupidity is at fault here. Now, like I said many times before, stupidity is the reason for a lot of bad things that go on in this world, in this country. Okay? And if we can rid the world of stupidity and teach them lessons to get them smarter, that's fine by me. But this is not the lesson. You don't teach them the lesson like, oh, you shouldn't have been stupid. This is what you get. No. You teach them by educating them on the importance of locking your car and not being stupid. Okay? So it was interesting that people did that. Like I said, I always go both ways on stupidity. Stupid people are nothing but problems. I know that because I am a stupid. But you don't teach lessons that way either. Now, here is the sort of the kicker. 30% of the people who voted said that both are at fault. Now, again, it just adds to the level of complexity of this seemingly simple situation. In my mind, initially, I thought this was a no-brainer. 100% the thieves' fault. You don't break into people's cars. They don't know it's unlocked. There's no sign that says it's unlocked. Now, there's that indicator on the new cars with the side mirror, how you doings. But that doesn't mean, again, that does not mean you're allowed to break the law because somebody's stupid. So I thought it was going to be a no-brainer. Apparently not. In fact, not even half the people who voted thought that way, which was, again, interesting. I'm not mad at them. It's an interesting, curious mindset that people have with this, and their take on it is very, I can't think of another word than interesting. Again, the stupidity strikes again, folks. Maybe I should have my car broken into or something. Now, getting to the fan feedback, again, very curious stuff here. I had a couple of fans that provided feedback that are cops, or they were cops, and it was a no-brainer for them. The thieves, 100%. you don't break into people's cars. You don't break the law for any reason. And again, the majority of these people don't know that the cars are unlocked until they try to break in. So they're in their head, they're already trying to break the law, to steal from people, to break into something and steal something from somebody. And then the fact that the door happens to be unlocked just made it easier for them to get away and not have to find a better way in or a different way in to break the law. But they didn't know going in, like, oh, these cars are unlocked. We need to teach them a lesson. They're not trying to teach lessons. They're trying to score tokens for the tolls or strip club money or whatever it is they're doing. Crack. So it was an easy answer for the cops. And I completely understand why. They're cops. They're there to, fight lawbreakers, put them in prison, do whatever, do justice and service. So that makes sense. Now, we got another person giving feedback. This is interesting. A couple people actually said this. They would rather their doors unlocked and their stuff stolen than a thief breaking their window or their door handle or, banging up their car. I was going to say injuring their car. It's not injuring their car. You know what I mean. Just dinging it up and causing, financial... Damn, I am losing my words today. Am I drunk? This is water I'm drinking, I think. Anyway, they're causing financial harm to the victim on top of the thievery. So they're not only stealing their stuff, but now they're causing them to have to go and get their car repaired because their window was broken in and there's glass everywhere and you're not going to get it. The glass is going to get deep into the fibers and the shag of your cheap seats and your Toyota Camrys, and you're never going to get it out. You're going to have to get a new car probably because you're going to be sitting on shards of glass and your fat ass is going to be looking like a porcupine. All for for them stealing your CD boombox or whatever it's called, the thing in the radio. What the hell do they call those back in the day when they had the CD heads? Not heads, but like people would buy aftermarket CD players for vehicles that had cool little designs in them, like pixelated designs, and that they would. Waves would crash and pop and hit every time the music and the bass went off. It was cool back in the day, back in the 90s and early 2000s. And then a lot of times thieves would just go in there and see that cool looking thing and go in there, unscrew it, slide it right out, boom, see it, gone. And you would be left with the wires hanging out and nothing to listen to your Gloria Gaynor CDs on. They don't do that anymore. Now people just have their easy passes and stuff in there that they're getting stolen into. But that was a very surprising, shocking opinion of, I'd rather get my stuff stolen with them opening my car than breaking into it and making me deal with the after effects of that. I don't agree, obviously, because I don't want my stuff stolen or my car broken either way. And if they're going to steal my shit, they're going to work for it. I'll get the insurance will cover all the stuff, but I'm going to make them work for it. If they have to go punch glass and get shards of glass in their stupid fists, good. Now, I don't think they do that anymore. I think they probably use weaponry, but whatever. I'm not going to make it easy for you to steal my shit, just out of convenience for me. And there are a couple people who said that too. I leave my car unlocked so that the thieves in the area don't ruin my vehicle. Which is a sad state of affairs because where I've lived historically, I never had to worry about rampant amount of thievery going on to the point where I had to start to choose, what was best for me in that regard. But it's a sad state of affairs for people who have to live in these areas where they know thievery is rampant and it's only a matter of time. It's not if, it's when their shit's going to get stolen. And they had to think, well, I can't afford to get my car, fixed or my window repaired or sit in shards of glass. So when they steal my stuff, they're going to do it with the least amount of negative impact to me. They're just gonna, whatever they can take in the car, they're gonna take, and I'm not gonna deal with the broken glass. I'm gonna leave the car unlocked. I get that perspective. I hate it, but I kind of empathize with it. It's a sad state of affairs that you have to live in these dangerous areas knowing that your stuff's going to get stolen and at any point, so you have to act appropriately. That's the mitigation. That's the defense, is make it easy for them to access it so they don't destroy my car, and then you just probably just don't put stuff in your car that is valuable. You just pull the CD player out each night. Now, I don't know how to solve this problem. I'm not here to solve problems today. We're just here to identify different ways of thinking and how every topic we discuss seems simple on the surface, and it's really a lot more complex than that. One person here, she said, don't take, it's 100% the thief's fault. Don't take people's shit. Don't take their stuff. Don't take their relationships, nothing. This gal sounds like somebody hurt her. Somebody broke her heart. And I don't know if it was a car thief or an ex-boyfriend or somebody who, a cheating, significant other, what happened. But I feel very badly for this person. And I'm glad they're a fan. Thank you for tuning in and listening and providing feedback. But please, call the hotline. You can stay anonymous. You can DM directly. Tell me what your problems are. We can get you the advice. This is what the LPDS is here to do. This is the stuff we want to hear about. Who hurt you? Tell me and help me help you. Help the LPDS help you out for the future so that you don't have to deal with this stuff anymore. Okay? But thank you for your feedback. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell all your friends and enemies. Now, I think we have a hotline here on this particular topic. So stand by 1 second. Let me find it. By the way, you guys can't hear this right now. But upstairs in the crazy house, my parents are having a heated argument about a football call on a game, an NFL game going on with two teams that we're not even fans of. It's not the Giants or the Jets. It's just two random NFL teams playing, and I can hear them through the ceiling, down into the dungeon right now. I know you can't hear it because it's muffled and what have you, but these people are crazy, okay? This is what I got to deal with. You want to know why I'm crazy? It's because they're crazy, all right? I love them. God love them, though. All right, here we go.
Hey, John, in response to your question out to the junction, I believe it's 100% the fault of the person who breaks into the car. As somebody who has experienced this personally, when I was moving back from New Mexico to Fort Meade, I had my car hacked 2 days before I was about to PCS and left my car unlocked. They walked by, did the old pull handle, oh, it's unlocked, cleared my car out completely, which was frustrating because there goes all the weight for my personal Diddy move. The only good thing about it was it was a bunch of crap I didn't want because it was just weight. It was just the heavy items that I wanted to move so I could maximize that partial Diddy claim. So at the end of it, I was able to claim it through insurance, and I think I got paid out even more. So it didn't really bother me or affect me, but I think it's the fault of the unsavory hooligans walking around just stealing people's stuff because they have no respect for their fellow human beings out in society. But I do own the responsibility of, hey, I should lock my car. It taught me the lesson. Every night before I go to bed, get a little chirp from the car. So lesson learned. That's what we got to do, something happens to you, you adapt and you change your situation and make it better for yourself. So it's not happening again. Making sure nothing gets popped out of my car again. So stay strong.
Well, there you go. So thief's fault in this guy's case. In all cases, let's be honest. It's don't steal from people's cars. But for those of you who are not familiar with the military and how we move from different base to base, a PCS that this guy was mentioning, and thank you for the call. This is another ride or die fan and a brother in arms right here. PCS is permanent change of station. That's what we call when we're getting moved to a different unit and a different base. And one of the things you can do when you move is the military moves your stuff for you, but you can also do a partial do-it-yourself move. Partial DITY, they call it, do it yourself, DITY. That's the acronym there. And you get paid by the weight that you can fit in your car, the weight of stuff that you can fit in your car. So I'm glad that it worked out for this guy when he got the insurance paid out more so, it sounds like. But you can stand to make a lot of money depending on how much weight how much stuff you can fit in your car, and depending on the car. I mean, I have a truck and I was able to fit a lot of stuff in there, over 1,000 pounds of stuff in my truck for a move, and you get paid out for that. So the fact that these guys walked in and cleared his entire car out, that potentially could have been a ton of money lost. Now the stuff itself might not have been valuable. It was probably old college books, if I were to venture a guess, because that's the heaviest stuff, books and weights and stuff like that. So value-wise, it probably wasn't that much, but the unrealized gains, if you will, that's a devastating loss. So I feel for you there, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you very much for that one. I think that's all we got here for this topic. We have no more calls on the topic. We got a couple hotline calls I'll get to in a sec, but I think that's all we got. Bottom line is, once again, a seemingly simple question and situation and topic is a lot more complex and nuanced than we realize. Especially the whole idea of not locking your doors so that you don't have to deal with broken glass in a busted up car in an area where cars are getting broken into on a regular basis. That's sad. That's tough. And I completely empathize and understand why people are doing it. Again, I hate it. I hate it more because most of the people that left that comment, some of the people, I don't say most, I don't want to generalize too much here, but they're not living in those areas. They're in prominent areas where everything is safe and sound and nobody's breaking into their dumbass car. Nobody. Also, they're probably don't have anything of value. If they're smart enough, again, if you're doing that, if you have to have that conversation in your head, take the valuable shit out of your car so that the only thing you can worry about now is a carjacking, which again is tough. I get it. But some of the people making that comment, I was initially just like, you're an idiot. Because they're people that will never be put in that position. But now I understand better. I took the step back, as we do in the LPDS, and I understand that there are areas that people live in, unfortunately, where they have to deal with this stuff on a daily basis. So they have to go into a fight or flight sort of mode of like, what do I want to protect more? The break-in or the future money I'm going to lose paying for repairs and shit like that. So I get it. It's sad. It's tough, but I understand it, and I appreciate the feedback. And I appreciate everybody's comments and interaction with this topic. Again, it opened my eyes to the nuance of this topic. I thought it was going to be an easy one. Everybody said thieves, and it would have been a 5-minute episode. We would have been bada bing, bada boom, out of here. But once again, we weren't, so thank you for that. Got a couple of separate hotline calls I want to get to, and then we'll get on out of here and prepare for the Christmas episode coming up, which I still don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about. It's going to be Christmas holiday related, so we'll figure it out. But we'll get to the hotline here real quick first.
Hey, Johnny, this is your faithful viewer, Tony Saccone from Wisconsin, New York. Your viewers are getting me all hot and bothered by all their negative comments that they're giving you about the show or about what you should do or what you shouldn't do. It's easy to make comments about people and not understand what it takes to make a podcast. And I guess unless you do it yourself, you really don't know. But especially the time and the effort you put into doing it it really doesn't need any negativity. Let them go out there and do their own podcast and see what the people will say about them. It's real easy to do that. You know what? I don't care what they say. You're doing a great job. And you can't judge a person by listening to your podcast 1 or 2 or 3 times. If you've gotten out there 137 of them, look at 30 or 40 or 50 before you make the comments that you do. It's easy to be a bad person, as you say, but I believe that you're doing the right thing, you're doing the right job, and you have to keep plugging like I tell you all the time, and everything will work itself out all right. Because there are people who are going to always give a bad review of anything, like you say, and that's the world, that's the way it is today. So you just keep your feet on the ground, keep plugging, and have a great holiday, and do the best that you can, buddy, because you're going to go places as long as you have the support and help of other people. Thanks a lot, buddy. Take care, and God bless. Have a nice day.
Hold on a sec, folks. I think there's more to this message. Stand by.
You reach Patrice and Tony. Leave a message.
All right. I saw in the when I was reading through the text translation of this that there was more to this message, and it's exactly what I thought it was. They didn't hit the hang up button enough, and it eventually recycled back to the voicemail there. Tony Ciccone, a top fan, a relative. He's always been around since I was a kid, you know, making us laugh and being at all our family events and stuff. He's a ride or die fan of the LPDS for sure. He's always commenting in the YouTube comments every week, day in and day out, with nothing but love and support. He's a great fan. I appreciate the call. I appreciate the kind words. And look, I can brush off the hate. I can Teflon Don it off me. He's the bulldog, okay? If you're going to throw shade and throw a hate at the LPDS, you don't have to worry about me. You got to worry about him, all right? He can be a real problem for you if you don't get in line and support the show the way you're supposed to. We're trying to push positivity here, and if there's going to be any negativity going on in here, Tony's going to snuff it out, all right? And you heard it here firsthand. So thank you for the call. I appreciate it. That was awesome. That was great. He's even got fans. He's got LPDS fans of his own. You can see it. Again, go read the comments in each episode on YouTube Land. It's very funny and entertaining stuff, and people are on board with Tony. So thank you for that. We'll try to get him on the show one of these days. We'll see you trying to make it happen. All right. I think I got one more call here. Let's see what we got.
Hey, John. Just got done listening to the U.S. men's national team and how we suck. I completely agree. We're not good. But I think what you guys were talking about, you hit the nail on the head. Like, we need to be more realistic with our expectations. And the first thing that needs to change is we got to get rid of that stupid "I believe that we will win" chant. Like, it is dumb. It should change to something realistic along the lines of, I believe that we will potentially make it to the round of 16. Other than that, stay strong. Bye.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you for the call. Couldn't agree more. And I went into this in depth in the previous episode 138, with Nikki Sticks. So you can go check that out. I think I'll pop up a link here for you. It'll also be at the end of this video. There'll be a link for you. But couldn't agree more. U.S. men's national team stinks. That saying, that chant that is always during World Cup for the U.S. and all these big U.S. national games, it's funny to me because I have only heard that chant from fans of teams who suck. Case in point, my college I went to, Embry-Riddle, that money-hungry, for-profit scam of a school, the fans at the sports games, most of the sports games, some of those teams were very good, most of them we sucked, they would chant that all the time. I believe that we will win. I believe that. And everybody loved it. And it only came from our fans, and it only came from other sucky teams' fans. Because we had to convince ourselves. Because we know the skill's not there. The team's not going to do it. We had to do it for them. We had to find any way possible to get this team to actually do what they say they're going to do, and that's be good. So we had to try to will it into existence, do the whole Oprah book club vision board, will it to existence to make it so. Newsflash, it doesn't work. The teams still stink. Our teams still stunk at Embry-Riddle, most of them, the ones where the chants were happening. You never heard those at the baseball games. And that's not only because there was only 4 fans at each game. It was because we were pretty damn good. And we didn't need, chakra stones and crystals and, astrology horoscopes to will us into being a good team and chants and what have yous. We didn't need it. The U.S. men's national soccer team needs it. So I agree. The chant is stupid. It should be more realistic. However, it probably needs to stay until they actually win. Because that's the only thing keeping them in this damn thing every 4 years, is that they have fans that are stupid enough to believe that they're good. So, all right, now that's all I got for that stuff, for the hotline stuff. Before we go, the big 3. We'll hit it real quick. For those of you who are first tuning in, the big 3 are the 3 pillars of the LPDS to staying strong and to being a better, more positive, happier human being, and to spread that goodness and positivity to the rest of the world. Number 1, exercise every day. It's the easiest thing to do as far as just getting up and doing something, going for a walk, doing push-ups, jumping jacks, whatever you got to do. Just to get the body moving, the calories burning, the endorphins surging through your body. It's healthier for you physically, mentally, and emotionally just to exercise every day. And nobody with half a brain would disagree with that. Nobody. All right? Number 2, the hardest one to do is to not be the shitty person and to instead be a good person. It's the easiest thing in the world to decide to be a shitty person, especially on the internets, when someone's doing something you don't like and you just take the jabs and you move on your way and they think nothing happens. But those are people on the other side of that line there, on the other side of that Instagram profile, and you hate it when people do it to you, so don't do it to them. When you have the opportunity to not be a shitty person, take that opportunity. And it's as simple as just not doing something, okay? It's hard to physically do it. Okay, I get it. You want to be able to take that jab and show that person who's boss and really stick it to them, especially if they're not a good human being. But instead of doing the action, just lay off. Just take the step back and don't do it. So now you're not doubling the negativity and the shittiness in the world. Because you don't fight shittiness and negativity with shittiness or negativity. That's not how it works. All you're doing is just loading up the space with more of that negative crap, and that's not what we want. All right? Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And it can start as simply as thinking about one thing a day that you're grateful for, actively thinking about it, taking the time, standing there, whether it's in the mirror or just alone in your room or whatever, and actively thinking or even talking out loud to yourself about one good thing that you have that you're grateful for. Or even one bad experience that you're grateful for having that experience because you learned something from it. Actively using your brain to find the good in something and being grateful for it will eventually change your brain space, your muscle memory, to doing that more so. So that the majority of your day is spent in that positive brain space as opposed to the negative shit. Therefore, spilling over to number 2 of the big 3, where you're way less likely to be that shitty person and way more likely to just brush it off and go about your day because you have more important things to worry about. And it all connects. And then you exercise, you get the endorphins running, you feel even better. You start, getting healthier too, physically, mentally, emotionally. Everything starts coming together, folks. Okay? That's why it's the big 3. It's 3 things. If you do these 3 things, even a little bit every day, the wheels are going to be in motion for the better. Okay? The snowball is going to grow. And before you know it, you're going to be fitter, you're going to be nicer, you're going to be happier, you're going to be more grateful for the good in your lives, and the people around you are going to feel it too. Okay? The big 3. It's important, folks. It's important, okay? I didn't just make this up out of thin air for some catchy slogan. All right? It's gotten me out of my deepest, darkest holes, so to speak. And I know it has helped some of you folks too. So spread the good word on that. Take it seriously each and every day. And you'll be better for it, I promise you. And those around you will be better for it. All right, now I'm finally done. Done. Put a cork in it, Libretti. Nobody wants to listen to you anymore. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe and do all those stupid how you doings. If you have ideas for the profile pic, please let me know. Again, I'll put it on Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to hit that hotline for anything you got, questions, comments, feedbacks, whatever. 202-670-1114. And as we approach the holiday season, Christmas, don't forget to get gifts and make sure you understand, the big man upstairs is always watching you. So thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.